Okay. So today the topic is I will take you to the CPI tenant, and we can walk through all the features to understand the CPI integration capabilities, right? The scope of the integration, what can be done through CPI and through the features. So let's start. So when you logged into the CPI system by providing the login credentials, so the URL link, which is created in the cloud. So when the client will subscribe to the success factors, so SAP will create the URL like this, and they provide the your S user ID and password. So by logging that, you will get into the screen. So on the left hand side, you can see there are four options. So those are the four different sections. So the first one is the discover. A discover means the standard packages are the best practices. What the SAP is offering, those are available in the public domain. Okay, so be it APIs which are available, or SAP standard packages, all the standard packages and APIs are available in Discover. So then what exactly the benefit that we are providing to the client is, when everybody wanted to implement the same kind of same package, and that is directly we can use it from the Discover. No need to implement from the scratch, because that is already being developed by SAP with the configuration of the iFlows, adapters, and certificates and everything. Right? So if you look at in the Discover, there are 295, around 300 interfaces, which are a standard interface are offering by SAP across all the domains. So if you want to filter the restricted to your domain, and you wanted to see based on the product, left hand side there is a filter options are available, so we can select that. If you look at the line of business, so currently there are 59 interfaces are available for HR domain, and in the similar way 40 interfaces for sales. So you can see for other domains. So if I wanted to see the list of all the interfaces which are relevant in HR domain, then I just click on it. Just message.
Yes, please.
Okay, good. Uh, oh, so if anyone have any issues while going through that, please just drop me a message if any problem, so that I can immediately respond. Okay. 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 So sorry for that. Um, here I will, that today we will discuss on the integration capabilities of CPI. So here I will take you to walk through the capabilities, what the CPI really offering, right, for the integration. So I started with the Discover tab. So in the Discover tab, you can already see the list of packages which are available in relevant with HR domain. So now one of the package that we have selected, so this standard package is from employee central success factors to the S/4HANA. Okay, so if, for example, when you're implementing with your customer is looking for exactly this interface, then you don't need to uh, 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 implement from the scratch, because that is already available in the Discover tab. So make sure that whenever you're implementing the new interface, you need to check first in Discover tab. If there is no standard packs, then we start implementing the new packages or the new interfaces from scratch. So here you can see in this page the details about the interface. What is the purpose of the interface, and the description part, you can see that. And in the next tab, the list of artifacts that you can see. Artifacts is nothing but like a I flows. So the process flow how we will build, that is available in under the artifacts. And documents. So for every standard package, there is a document, because we need to understand the entire technical scope. So that is described in documents that will be attached to this section. And the next tags, just to search by using the tags, they're just given here like a keywords, and whoever using this interface package, they can give the rating, whether it is how the rating is, the based on their usage. Okay, so coming back to here, artifacts, here it shows uh, the iFlow, right? But here SAP is further offering extending to even the modifiable state. What does it mean? That means you can see here on the top, you can see the vendor, the version number, and the mode. The mode is configure only. That means whatever the package that shows configure only, that means we can able to configure, and we cannot able to modify the interface. Right? But some of the packages now, what they're offering is with editable state. That means we can modify it. So 70% of the interface they can provide, just assume, and the rest of the things we need to modify it according to our client requirement. Then we can add on that on the same package once we copy it into our tenant. So you can see it here, configure only. That means we can't able to modify the iFlow, which is artifacts, right? And but if it is a modifiable state, then we can able to further modify into our client according to our client requirement. Okay. So configure means what? So configure means we can just give the sender and the receiver system details. Right? Uh, so that means we just consume the package rather than modifying the package, right? So let's say one example here. So there is a you know a client, and they are looking for a integrate with their cloud system success factors. So when they are integrating the by using the standard package, one of the field that they are looking for additional field which is customized in their cloud system, that has to be replicated to the on-premise system, right? For just one sake of the field, we can't build the entire iFlow, right? Just to add a new field in interface or new data format, or modify the length of the field, like a small things, we can't build the entire interface, right? It doesn't even make sense, because a lot of efforts and lot of time it will be consumed. So that is the reason they are modifying, they are giving a modifiable state. So that means when if the mode is editable, then these kind of a small things like adding a new field or modifying the data length or characteristic of the data format, these things can be modifiable. Okay, so that is the reason now SAP, whatever the latest package that they are offering, that with the modifiable state. Okay, so I will show you now that modifiable package. So again, search here for the modifiable packages. Is also configure only. So there is no filter for configure or modifiable. Maybe in the future it will come, but we need to search manually which is the modifiable state to further. But again, it depends on your uh, your requirement. So you need to search based on their requirement, right? So let's go for searching for the standard package which is showing in the modifiable state, right? So is there any disadvantages for the standard package in case if they use for the modifiable state? Of course, there are positive and negatives as well. The positives are we can further add into the new requirement to the standard interface. Right? And the negatives are still we need to check the testing, and we need to fix the bugs if it is there. So that is the reason so I hope you understand now. So when you wanted to check the standard package, you just make sure that check the status of the interface, whether it is in a configure mode or in editable status, right? So once you identified that, then what is the next step? So the next step to use it into your tenant, right? So when you wanted to use it into your tenant, then you will copy the package, Either it is for success factors for HR domain, for the similar way for the other domains, you just select the package and you can use it in the in our customer tenant for config for the just updating the sender and the receiver system details. Hmm. Out of 295, so you can differentiate these two type of modes. So by using this, we can further add the requirements to the package, okay, like this. So when the entire process, right, already built, most of the part will be built, and you can add further into either it is at a mapping level or at a process level or at a adapter level, whatever it is, we can still add to the package because that package is offering as a editable state. Okay, then okay, this is fine that I wanted to use this package. Once you decided, then what is the next step? You just click on it to copy. Okay, once you click on it to copy, what will happen? It will copy to your tenant. What is your tenant? Tenant is nothing but a system. So what is our customer system? It will copy to this tenant because the discover tab is available even the without accessing your CPI system, because this is available public domain, and from there it has to copy to our client. So just click on copy here. So once you click on copy, then see the message package copied. Okay, so once it is copied, then where it will come, it will come to the design or development area of the customer tenant. So that section is called next section, design. So in the designs section, this is the important, and the main purpose of the design is to develop the iFlows, develop and configure the iFlows. Okay, so once you click on the design tab, then you just find, see, this is the one that we have copied, right? Now it has copied to our customer tenant. Okay, so now you wanted to modify further into this iFlow, then you just click on edit, then go to artifact, and you can modify this iFlow. So whatever you wanted to add it, you can add that. Once you add that, just click on save. So, but what will happen for the configure mode? So for the configure mode, if you click on edit, then there is a message that you can't able to edit because it is in a configured mode, right? So that is the difference between editable status or the configure only. Okay, but for the both types, configure only or editable, you can configure it, this iFlow. How do you do that? By clicking on it, configure section. Once you click on it, configure section, you can see there is a window, then there it will shows the sender system and the receiver systems, right? So the sender system and receiver system, you still need to give for even for the uh, configure only packages or the editable packages, right? So for every package, you need to update the sender or the receiver system details. So you can update here and finally just click on save, then deploy. So once you click on deploy, what will happen? It will execute the iFlow. So once it will execute that iFlow, then where you going to monitor it? Because after execution, we need to know whether it is success or failure, right? That you can do it in the monitor section, which is a third section. So to click to monitor it, you can see different type of status that will show. Then we can track and monitor the iFlow. So all the messages that you can see it by clicking on it here. So you can see whether it is successful or not. So if it is successful, the message will be completed. If it is a different status, if it is a different status, then you can see all different status of the messages. So anything can be possible, right? Failed, retry, completed, processing, or escalated. So completed is the successful messages. So all successful messages that you can see it here. Okay, so with this, you can able to uh, use the way for the standard package what the SAP is offering, right? So to summary of to use that packages, what is the first step one? You need to verify it in Discover tab. Go and discover and check what is the suitable standard package based on our domain, based on our platform, based on our system, based on our product. Then you can copy it to the design tab. In the design tab, you just give the sender and the receiver system details and click on deploy it. Then in the third section, on the third step, you can monitor whether the iFlow is successful, completed, or it is throwing an error. Those things you can check it through monitor section. Okay, this is one way of dealing these standard packages. But okay, now let's look at the next level. The next level is your you have checked already in Discover tab, but there is no suitable package. Then we need to develop the iFlow from the scratch, right? So most of the packages happens to build from scratch because the same requirement may not be possible with the another client, right? So each client will have their own unique requirements. So we need to build the iFlow from the scratch. So how do we do that? Just we go to the design tab, then you can create package. Okay, let's say I'm creating the package. Yeah. So you just give the name. You can say something. Okay. Just click on save. I just given something like to create a package. Then the next step is to add the artifacts, right? So these artifact section, you can create a new artifact by clicking on the integration flow. Right? Let's click on integration flow. So here, to create that integration flow, there are two options that you're seeing here: create and upload. So if you wanted to create, just what's the difference between these two? Create means we have to create from the scratch of the iFlow. Then you so that means you are designing from the blueprint to the realization. Okay, but when you click on the upload, that means the iFlow is already uploaded in different platform, and now you wanted to import into CPI. It is kind of a migration. So these are the two options that you can see it here. So the just to give the outbound communication. Okay, go on channels. So just keep it blank as sender receiver, then click on OK. So this iFlow is created. Now once you click on it, from there you can start designing the entire iFlow, right? To build. For the build phase will start from here. So if you want to search a package, just click on in the search box and just click on it. Then you can see, go to the list of artifact. The first one is the package that we have created. Then the next step is to create the artifacts. So in the artifact section, you can create multiple artifacts, and the build phase will start from here, right? So to actually to implement the code or the to iFlow, the process based on that, we need to implement from here. So as usual, if you have any document section, you can add to the document section. Tags to attach to this iFlow, you can update here, and the comment section, you can update in the comment section. Okay. And for example, you wanted to export this package, like download it, then click on export, modify it as usual to click on edit. If you want to delete the package, you can use the delete. So a design tab is the most important thing here, because all the developments happens from here. So you need to be use the system more and more in the design section. So in the design section, either copied the packages from the discover for the standard packages, or even customized packages which are we created by ourselves. All packages will be deal in the design section. So whether they can give the configure like a sender or receiver systems to update, or we are building the iFlow from the scratch. Everybody, all the things that we can deal in design section. For example, if you click on here in design section, you can see all the list of packages, whether it is a standard package or whether it is a customized package. Everything will be available in the design section. So once you click on it, created the design, then again same way it will follow that to even the customized package that what we created that you wanted to execute, then you need to click on deploy. Then eventually it will be, we need to track or monitor through monitor section. So we just click on it. So whether it is a standard packages or a customized packages, everything will be monitored through in the same section called monitor message processing. So under the section monitor message processing, you can monitor all the artifacts. Okay. Then what about the fourth section? Fourth section is a additional things like a transport, right? Transport means what? Uh, you know, in typical client environment, you can see three systems like development, quality, and production. So now you're implementing in one system like a development, then you need to move it to the same integration content. You wanted to move it to the quality, right? And then production. So every time we need to build from the scratch. So the same content we need to move it. So for that, SAP is in the process of implementing CTS plus technology, which is we already implemented in the on-premise mode. So the same thing will be implemented. Therefore, by online through web UI, we can transport from development to quality, from the quality to production. So this is called a transport. Okay, that we will discuss it. And a repository section is nothing but we have creating a a temporary database like to store the temporary data like variables we can store it, or temporarily we can store the documents of the integration documents that can be created a repository. And also parallel we can use the cloud connectors to create a section for the location ID. To create it, we can use this section, is repository. Okay, so the mainly we can look at it is two sections. One is design and monitor. And so in the discover tab, as you are seeing here, there are two platforms, like a supported platforms that you can see it here, right? One is SAP Cloud Platform Integration, another one is SAP API Management. Okay, there are two platforms. What exactly the two difference is? The Cloud Platform Integration is nothing but to integrate the scenarios or integrate the data from one system to another system, which is a middleware, right? Like a PI or PO, how it will act same way. But the next platform is that we are using API management. So API management, for example, instead of the building the entire scenario, they want to fetch one object from the system. For that, they can call directly through OData API. Okay, so that APIs directly accessible that object from the system, that you can use it through API management. For example, there are new technologies, that so many new technology like for the IoT or the machine learning, all the new like technologies, we still we will use the CPI tool for that, like a blockchain. Okay, you are sending the data, so you wanted to use this you don't want to use the entire data data from the system to the another system. Rather, you just wanted to use a direct object. Okay, for example, if you look at in success factors, there are vast data of employee master data. Okay, instead they need a small object, uh, let's say first name or the last name. For that, we can't send the entire API, right? And even if we send the entire data also, there will be no use. But they wanted to have to look at the specific objects to extract it through APIs. So how to deal such things that can be that can be seen in the API management as well. This is the new wave that directly accessible it. If you, for example, click on the SAP API management, you can see the list of APIs for the suitable tools. Okay, so you can see the products that you can see Hyperledger Fabric. That means this is for blockchain, SAP Cloud Platform, Success Factors. So different latest products that you can see it here. SAP Leonardo IoT. There are two APIs are created, and machine learning foundation and conquer. So all the latest systems, how they will consume the APIs that can be, you know, identified and available through API management. That is also, accessible through the CPI system. So both CPI integration and the API management can be accessible through Discover tab. Okay. I hope now you understand the navigation part or the look and feel how the CPI system looks like, right? So every day we will implement, most of the time we will spend in the hands-on to create a new iFlow, and we will test how it works, right? Everything will be tested rather than theoretically we will work with through system. So now let me go back to the course content. So I hope most of you attend the last session, right? So in the demo we discussed clear, line by line, topic by topic, what are the content that will be covered in our course, right? So here are the course content. Just have a look at if you're not attended the demo. So here we start with the CPI platform, okay, and then we'll go for the CPI integration. Then we will discuss about the architecture, which is important thing, what the technical architecture which is linked to the network, how it will work on the cloud, those we can discuss part of architecture. Then the building blocks of the CPI, like as we have seen, prepackaged content, like standard packages, right? But we go further into understand how the options that are available, how to use those packages, right? We just started to look at the page, but how to consume that entire package and deploy and see the progress, everything will be, we'll discuss about that part. And design to start with all these functionalities, service calls, events, message transformers, routing, message persistence, value mapping. So all these functionalities are available in design. Okay, so when we wanted to create the new iFlow, how these functionalities that we need to use, right? What what the how to configure those functionalities? Everything will be discussed, each and every part. Okay, so this is the major part in our course content. Then the adapters, like a connectors. So we have the list of adapters here: OData adapter, SOAP adapter, SFTP adapter, success factors, IDOC, RFC, mail, disk, Ariba, Facebook, HTTP, Twitter. There are many more. So how to use those adapters, how to configure these adapters, that we will discuss it. And operations and monitoring, like in day-to-day, once we deploy the type flows, we have to monitor it, right? So monitor the message. So don't think that monitor means just to simply monitor the iFlows. No, in case of errors, how to fix that error, we need to troubleshoot. So this is the main important point. How do you start to fix that errors, right? What is the best way to troubleshoot or find the root cause and fix that errors? What ways are possible, and what is the best way to deal such type of errors? So those you can understand from this course. And to deal with the certificates, there are different types of certificates that we need to deal. Why? Because CPI is not in the secured network, it is in the cloud, right? So we need to make sure that the right certificate has to be deployed before sending the data, right? So what type of certificates are available, how to import such certificates, we will discuss those things. Then again, important thing is security topic. At adapter level, how do we secure? At a message level, how do we secure? At a data level, how do we secure? All the things that we can discuss. And also the user administration part for CPI, how to create user in CPI, how to assign the different authorizations, different roles in CPI, those we'll discuss it. And also additional things like how to transport it, or how do we CPI will support for B2B, how to deal error handling, like in case of errors, or exceptions, how do we handle it. And SF integration center, there is the integration center that we can see what kind of the scope, what is that. Of course it is a very limited functionality, but how to see how it works, that we can see it. And different deployment scenarios are there, like a cloud to cloud, cloud to on-premise. In the cloud to on-premise also there are different possibilities to implement, so that we will discuss it. And also Groovy scripting is also, we'll discuss that. Groovy scripting, and that also it's a part of this course. And finally, everything what we learned to apply for business scenarios, right? So we will take 3 different type of business scenarios, like cloud to on-premise, then cloud to cloud, cloud to third party. So how do we use our expertise to integrate with different systems? That is part of business scenarios. And also, of course, cloud connector is another functionality, that main purpose of on-premise systems. When we integrate with the on-premise systems, we use this cloud connector. So how do we set up and configure the cloud connector? That also we'll discuss that. Okay, so the overall scope of the course content will be, this is, I think it is available. If you're not yet received, you please ask a admin team of MiNdLiNkS, they will provide you the course content. Okay, so now whatever, if you have a questions, please let me know so that I will be able to answer it.
What is the sender and receiver in here?
Sender and receiver systems, source and target systems, from where the data, where the data is pushing, and from where the data has reaching it, right? So that is called a sender and receiver systems.
It's any system in SAP or non-SAP.
Yeah, any system, whether it is SAP or non-SAP, it could be any system.
Do you have any prerequisite technologies required?
Not exactly there is a prerequisite, because most of the part is the configuration section, so you will understand how to configure and all. But if the people who comes from the background of middleware, they can easily catch, because they're already experiencing with that work. So that will be, but that is not a prerequisite, that is the background they comes from. So one of the prerequisites is to learn Groovy script, like is another scripting language. Whenever you have a time, so you can learn that Groovy script. Of course, as part of this learning, you will also understand how to deal the Groovy scripting. But if you wanted to experience more and more, you just learn that part.
In the settings menu, you have shown the transport. So there you have mentioned the CTS. So what do you mean by the CTS? CTS is some another system?
No. The transport that you are seeing it on the front end, but the back end, the technology they are using is a CTS plus. You know CTS Plus. CTS Plus is basically a transport tool that SAP is already using uh, for the on-premise systems, like to move the transports on the front end you can see on the online, but back end that works through the CTS Plus. So this is the tool that they have wanted to implement in CPI also, to move the transport from one environment to another environment.
Okay, so is it available now or they are
It is
developing?
going to be available shortly. Now, at this moment, it is not available, but it is a new feature that they are going to deliver in the next quarter.
Okay, okay. And this course content also cover the message mapping, no? All the in the message mapping, all the conversion like the functions, the custom function and any other functions as well.
Yeah, exactly. So if you look at in our course content also is described a message mapping, XSLT
Mm,
mapping. So
yeah.
how to deal those mapping functionalities, the mapping rules, and also the different format from the sender to the target to deal with these mappings, that will be discussed. Even value mappings, that we will discuss, and also we'll implement the scenarios in our practice.
Yeah.
So for other things like access part or the materials, on day-to-day basis, you will just touch base with our admin team of MiNdLiNkS. They will provide you all the things on timely manner. So you have any questions from anyone? Okay. So then I hope you just useful this session and to understand the navigation of the screens in CPI. So tomorrow we will start with the actual class. So from the, as per the course content, we start with the first topic, which is a CPI platform. Then it will goes on. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then we will meet tomorrow at the same time, 7:30 a.m. Okay. Thank you
Sure.
all. Bye.
Okay.